Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a movie's entitled Never Back Down. Let's get straight into the storyline. The film opens with a rugby match, where one of the players, Jake Tyler, becomes emotionally provoked when one of his opponents verbally abuses him after he has just lost his father. The abuse causes Jake to lose his temper, and he ends up punching his opponent. After the match, Jake decides to go home early to help his mother and younger brother, Charlie, pack, as they are moving to Orlando the next day. The reason for the move is so that Charlie can focus more on pursuing professional tennis. Coincidentally, Charlie has received a scholarship there. Meanwhile, Jake's father has died in a car accident while drunk. The next day, Jake and Charlie set off for Orlando in a moving van, while their mother would follow after they arrived there. After moving into their new home, Jake started attending his new school. At first, Jake found it difficult to adapt because the social environment there was very different from the previous city. During the adaptation process, Jake accidentally saw a student named Max being beaten up by a group of other students in a building. Jake tried to help him. However, Max stopped him and said that what he was going through wasn't bullying, but a martial arts fight. Meanwhile, in class, Jake caught the attention of other students because he was quite smart. One of the female students, Baha Miller, began to take an interest in Jake.
Friends or family or what is at stake?
The following days, while Jake was eating in the cafeteria, Max approached him and admitted that he knew about Jake from a viral video of Jake fighting in a rugby match. Max also explained that duels were common in this school environment. However, these duels were not acts of bullying, but agreements between two parties. Max then offered Jake the chance to train with his martial arts teacher.
Wait for the right moment.
But Jake, who was trying to start a new life, was not interested in Max's offer.
I'm just not into it, man.
When school let out, Baha approached Jake and invited him to a party that night.
Do you want to go? See you there?
Yeah. Thanks.
After accepting the invitation, Jake hurried home to prepare for the party. In short, upon arriving there, Jake was greeted by the party host, Ryan, an MMA champion. Ryan then took Jake around and showed him some students who were fighting, including women.
Girl on girl.
Such fights were commonplace for them. As usually, after fighting, the two fighters no longer became enemies, but instead became friends.
You ready? Ready for what?
Ryan then announced to the guests that the main event was about to begin. It turned out that the main event was a duel between Ryan and Jake.
Main event. That would be me and you.
Jake, of course, refused, as he had actually come to the party only to get close to Baha. Upon learning this, Ryan immediately kissed Baha, revealing that Ryan was Baha's boyfriend. Heartbroken, Jake decides to leave, but Ryan's men stop him. Ryan then deliberately provoked Jake by bringing up the death of Jake's father, who had died in an accident while drunk. Ryan's provocation made Jake angry, and the two began to fight. In the fight, Ryan was far superior to Jake. He fought very calmly, unlike Jake, who was too aggressive and did not know how to control his breathing. Ryan then attacked Jake with various kicks until Jake was beaten up and ended up knocked out.
Get up.
Get up, farmer.
Instead of helping him, the guests insulted Jake as if he were useless. Fortunately, Max was willing to help Jake. He quickly took Jake back to his house. The next day, the video of the duel between Ryan and Jake spread throughout the school and became a hot topic of discussion. Meanwhile, Jake did not attend school for several days because his injuries were severe. Max then visited Jake and wanted to introduce him to his mentor, Gene Roqua. Max also revealed that Jake had potential in martial arts. However, Jake, still upset about his loss, refused and told Max to leave.
Achieve greatness.
Achieve an exit.
Well, then hide in here.
Maybe I will.
After Max left, Jake began to think that Max was right. Finally, the next morning, Jake went to Roqua's gym to start MMA training. Max, seeing Jake arrive, immediately introduced him to Roqua. Roqua then told Jake to join the beginner's class with Max. However, Jake arrogantly refuses to join the beginner class and instead wants to join the seniors. As a result, Roqua tested Jake with an endurance warm-up that included various physical tests. This warm-up was designed to train breathing and build the fighter's strength.
Pick it up, buddy. Let's go. Rotation.
After the warm-up, Jake was told to duel with one of the seniors. Jake initially underestimated him because the senior was small in stature. However, once the duel began, Jake was completely overwhelmed because the senior was highly skilled in wrestling. When Jake was caught in a hold, he refused to surrender until he eventually lost consciousness. After regaining consciousness, Roqua recognized Jake's potential because he refused to give up. So Roqua accepted Jake into his training camp, but with one rule: Jake was not allowed to fight outside the training camp. If he broke the rule, he would be expelled.
Yeah.
He tested you, and you passed with flying colors.
That night, Baja came to Jake's house to apologize. However, Jake does not forgive her because he thinks Baja has invited him to the party just to trap him into dueling with Ryan.
He was wrong.
The next day, Jake arrived early at the training camp, which impressed Roqua. While waiting for the others to arrive, Jake practiced punching the punching bag, which caught Roqua's attention. Roqua then asked Jake to perform a combo attack, a jab, a strike, and a middle kick. However, in that combo, Jake could not control his breathing, so his attacks lacked power. Roqua then demonstrated proper breathing technique, which proved to push the punching bag very far. In the early stages of training, Jake still struggled due to his emotions, recalling his duel with Ryan. However, over time, Jake managed to control his emotions and improve during training. One day, when Jake returned home, his mother reminded him to occasionally attend Charlie's matches. Jake's mother then became angry after finding out that Jake had withdrawn a large amount of money from her account, which he used to pay for martial arts training, something his mother obviously did not approve of. Meanwhile, at school, Baja tried to talk to Ryan. Baja felt that the fight between Ryan and Jake at that time was terrifying, and she wanted Ryan to apologize to Jake. This caused their relationship to become strained, even leading to an argument.
Do this to
Ryan! Ryan, you're hurting me!
Eventually, Jake intervened to calm things down, but Ryan once again brought up the topic of Jake's father. Fortunately, Jake managed to control his emotions, even though he desperately wanted to punch Ryan. Jake vented his emotions to his partners and Roqua at the training facility. This prompted Roqua to scold Jake for letting his emotions get the better. Instead of calming down, Jake grew even angrier, leading to an argument between them. Roqua finally told Jake to go home and calm down. Jake was then driven home by Max in his car. When they stopped at a red light, they suddenly encountered a reckless driver who kept honking at their car. As a result, Jake, who was already angry, was provoked and started a fight with the drivers, who turned out to be 3 large men. Jake easily defeated them, while Max recorded and uploaded the incident to social media. The video went viral everywhere, boosting Jake's social status at school. This phenomenon made Ryan anxious. Jake's popularity attracted the attention of many girls, including Baja. This made Ryan even more jealous. He then confronted Jake in the bathroom, and the two got into a fight.
You think I'm impressed?
After successfully taking Jake down, Ryan challenged him to a fight in an MMA tournament, where Ryan had been the defending champion for several consecutive years.
That's where we'll get it on.
Feeling his pride was hurt, Jake began researching beatdown. With Max's help, he seemed interested in participating in the tournament.
Everybody who brawls, they go to the beatdown.
When Jack returned to the training facility, Roqua was furious upon seeing the video of Jake involved in a street fight. Jake's actions clearly violated Roqua's rules. Ultimately, Roqua expelled Jake and ordered him never to return. When they returned home, Jake's mother was also angry when she saw Charlie's bruised eye. She thought her youngest son had also been involved in a fight like his older brother. However, Charlie explained that he had been hit by a ball while playing, not in a fight.
I got hit with the ball. It was an overhead and I took my eye off of it.
The next day, Jake and Max spied on Roqua's camp. As soon as Roqua left, they followed him to the mini market. While Roqua was picking up some fruit, Jake approached him and tried to persuade him to allow him to train again. Jake also explained everything that had actually happened, including his conflict with Ryan. As a result, Roqua agreed to train Jake again. However, this time, Roqua would be stricter with Jake.
Thank you.
You won't be thanking me tomorrow.
The next day, Roqua gave Jake an intense training session in preparation for the beatdown competition. The training lasted for several days, and Jake was trained directly by Roqua. This also brought the two of them closer together. During the training session, Roqua began to talk about his life. He had a younger brother named Joseph, a great MMA fighter. In fact, their father loved Joseph more because of his achievements in martial arts. One day, while Roqua and Joseph were watching a concert, they got into a fight with some drunk men. During the altercation, Joseph managed to knock one of them down, causing the drunk men to flee. But shortly after, the man returned and shot Joseph in the head, killing him. Since then, Roqua has never seen his father again, feeling guilty about his brother's death. Jake's life improved thanks to Roqua. He even came to Charlie's tennis match to cheer on his younger brother. In the following days, when Jake was about to buy something, he accidentally met Baha. The two began talking, and Jake apologized to Baha for the previous issue. From that apology, the two grew closer.
Thank you.
In short, when Max and Jake were in the cafeteria, Max told Jake that the beatdown tournament would begin tomorrow night. However, Jake told Max he wouldn't participate in the tournament because his life was now much better than fighting.
I'm sorry, man. Come on.
The news of Jake's refusal to participate reached Ryan, which upset him. He then devised a plan to force Jake to join the tournament. Ryan and his friends then met Max, who had just finished training at the Roqua camp. Ryan then invited Max to hang out at his house. Since Ryan was the most popular student, Max left his car at the campground and went with Ryan. However, when they arrived at Ryan's house, Max was ambushed and severely beaten. The battered Max was then sent to Jake's house, where Jake and Baha immediately took him to the nearest hospital. Knowing that Ryan was the one who beat Max, Jake decided to join the tournament to fight Ryan. When Jake was about to take Max's car, Roqua appeared and asked to talk to him. There, Jake revealed that he wanted to take revenge on Ryan. Of course, Roqua disagreed with Jake, fearing that what happened to Joseph would also happen to Jake. However, Jake insisted on fighting Ryan and didn't care about the outcome, whether he won or lost.
Disgusted.
In the end, Roqua had no choice but to let Jake fight Ryan and could only ask Jake to be more skilled.
Control the outcome. It's on you.
Jake then went to the beatdown event, which was packed with spectators. After registering as fighters, Jake and Ryan began fighting against other fighters in the tournament. In the fight, Ryan easily defeated his opponents. This motivated Jake even more, so he gave it his all to win and advance to the next round. However, during the match, Jake was hit several times in the ribs. In the changing room, Baha came to calm Jake down and encourage him. Later, during the match, Jake saw that Ryan was disqualified for illegally poking his opponent's eye. Since Jake's main goal is to fight Ryan, he chooses to withdraw from the match. After that, Jake and Baha left the venue. However, Ryan tried to stop them. As a result, Ryan and Jake engaged in a duel in the parking lot. Since their duel was more exciting, the beatdown audience began to leave the room and chose to watch Ryan and Jake in the parking lot instead. Initially, Ryan had the advantage because Jake was still in pain from his rib injury. In fact, Ryan also slammed Jake quite hard to the ground. After Ryan's attack, Jake began thinking of his loved ones and getting back up. Jake then began using jiu-jitsu techniques, successfully locking Ryan's arm and slamming him to the ground with great force. Not stopping there, Jake also used a combination technique taught by Roqua to defeat Ryan, kicking him hard in the head until he lost consciousness. As a result, Jake won the duel and defeated Ryan as he had intended. The next day, Max was discharged from the hospital and returned to school with Jake. After the incident, people at school began to respect Jake more, including Ryan. Meanwhile, Roqua chose to close his martial arts training business and eventually went to Brazil to meet and reconcile with his father after so many years apart.